So our clay has dried and it looks like my bowl stayed intact, so that's cool. I like that. So today is painting day and you need acrylic paints. You can paint the bowl however or with whatever color you want. I've decided to go with a Calypso Sky Blue. You need some water and a bowl, paper plate for your palette, and a larger brush and a flat kind of medium brush here. Okay. Also need a piece of paper toweling or Kleenex. And then for our second step, we're going to be putting some antiquing wax on it just to give the bowl a little different look to it. And so you need a paintbrush for that as well as a rag. So make sure that you shake up your paint well. I'm just going to do mine all one color, but it could also be cool to, to do the different coils, different colors. It depends on your motivation and how much time you've got. Okay, so, and you can paint the inside of the bowl too. You could make that a different color. Just make sure that you get into all of the cracks and crevices with your paintbrush. You don't want white showing through. Now, depending on your color, you might need to see how I'm sort of poking that paint in there. You might need to do 2 coats. I think this one's going to be fine. But if you're using like a dark red or black or whatever, it might require 2 coats. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside. Again, poking to make sure that you're getting their coverage. As you move it around, you'll see these little white spots sort of popping up. They might also pop up after your paint has dried, so we're going to need to inspect that as well. And just move it around and look at it, the surface at different angles. You can paint the bottom of the bowl if you want. I'm not going to, but that's up to you. Sort of painting around my holding fingers, and then I'll let go of that spot. I've got a little piece of cardboard I think I will use to elevate this a little bit. There. So you are going to get paint on your fingers with this one. Not to worry, it will wash off. Those pesky little white places are popping up like crazy. It's because your clay has texture, and so it just takes a little work to get it all covered. You can move it around, do your inspections. Just when you think you've got everything covered, you find another spot. And you want to tilt it. See, as you can see, when I tilt it, more areas show up. I'm glad I made a small pot. This would take forever to paint. All right. I was just going to say, I think I got it. Now I just found some more. We could be here for hours. Okay, we're going to call that finished. So what we need to do is let this dry very, very well. And because the next step is we're going to give it kind of an antique-y look. See, now it looks very bright, right? So we're going to give it an antique look by applying this wax. And so the paint needs to be well dried. So we'll come back to it in a while. So we're back. The bowl is dry and we're ready to put on our antiquing wax. So I'm going to put just a little bit out here on my paper plate. Wipe up the drips a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a brush and paint over what we've already painted. Again, make sure you get into all of those crevices. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. All of those crevices. And we're going to do a section, and then we're going to rub off the wax. Okay. So we're going to brush it off. And what you'll see is that the wax stays in those crevices and gives it an antique look. So we're just going to keep walking our way around this bowl. So brush it. Poking with your brush. This is one of the reasons why we gave it some texture last week, so that it would go into the texture and really show up. And you can wipe off as much of the antiquing that you want, or as little. It kind of depends on what kind of look you want for your bowl. Almost made a complete circle around our bowl. Okay, and now we're ready to start doing our little coil here, a little swirl. You have to work kind of quickly with this because we don't want to have the wax dry on us too badly. And again, you can decide where you want to rub it off and where you want to keep it on. My dad used to say to me when I was antiquing things, okay, so you just spent a whole lot of time making sure that everything's painted really nice, and now you're covering it up with the antiquing. Or sometimes I would take sandpaper and make distress marks or hit a board with chains to try to make some interesting texture, and he just did not understand what his crazy daughter was doing. Again, make sure that you're getting the wax down in those crevices, because when we wipe it, that's what gives it an interesting effect. Really highlights those textures. And I'm not going to take as much care on the inside, but I still want to have the antique look. So I'm going to quickly put some antiquing on it and wipe it out. And then we need to set this off to the side and let it dry really well for at least 24 hours. And then you can put your vessel to work. Now, if you want to know where I got this antiquing wax, it's called Wax Antique Finishing Wax. It's water-based, non-toxic, and I got it at Walmart. So it's not very expensive, and you can do some interesting things with it. I used to paint a lot of furniture. You know, get furniture pieces at flea markets and yard sales, and then give them a new life through paint. And that's where I started learning about and using the antique waxes and finishes. I just like how it kind of knocked down the bright colors and gave it an aged effect. Hence the name tag. Antique. Okay, so I see a little problem area there where I didn't get the antiquing into my holes. Down towards the bottom is giving me fits here. Okay, so you want to inspect your piece to make sure that you've got it rubbed down to your liking. You can go over it again, make the antiquing softer. Check on those textures. There we go. And I think that we are done. Ta-da! Cute, cute. Well, I hope you like this process. Clay is a lot of fun to work with, very enjoyable. I've met very few people who don't like working with clay just because it's we're so used to just, drawing on paper and canvases and stuff. And so the clay gives us a chance to work in 3-dimension and really get tactile with our hands. See, now my little perfectionist thing comes out where I'm finding all sorts of little things to fret over. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to leave the project alone, or else I'll be here all night. Okay, just make sure to let it dry really well before you handle it too much, and then you can figure out if you want to make it, give it as a gift or keep it for yourself. You've got a one-of-a-kind vessel. Thank you.